Let's start by maybe just understanding what pro bono legal services actually are.
Sure. I mean, pro bono means for the public good, and so they're free legal services, primarily for people that are low income, socially disadvantaged, marginalised people. That's the main target group, but also in the arts, in the environmental area, those sort of areas. So it stems from a professional responsibility of lawyers to assist access to justice and to help those who wouldn't otherwise get access.
Now, you've set an aspirational target that a lawyer should give 35 hours a year of pro bono services. How are you going against that target?
Pretty well. I mean, I think we've now got about 7,000 lawyers. There's about 50,000 in Australia. It might surprise people that there's that many, but about 7,000 lawyers, either individually or through their firm, are signed up to the National Pro Bono Aspirational Target. And in doing that, they say that they will aspire to do at least 35 hours of pro bono legal work per year. Most of the large firms will meet that quite easily. So our target group has really moved on to the sort of mid-tier firms, I suppose. But it provides a useful informal benchmark, and it also comes with a statement of principles. You know, that pro bono work should not be done to any less standard than paid work, and the client should be treated equally.
To get from 7,000 up to that 50,000, I mean, do you find it's a hard sell? You really have to go in there and say this is why you need to do it and get on board, or...?
Well, I think it's a soft sell, interestingly. I don't think the hard sell works in it. You know, essentially it is still a voluntary activity. There are motivations for law firms to do it themselves for various reasons, but the altruistic reasons are really the primary reasons that you know, it's the right thing to do. You need a little bit of that, and you need a little bit of the business case about why it's a good thing to do. You know, from the corporate social responsibility point of view, or from the fact that it's good for retention tool for lawyers, it's good for just the morale within the firm, you know, the culture within the firm.
Governments are pushing this, I think, a bit. Victorian government, the Commonwealth government. Tell me what they're doing to try and promote pro bono.
The Victorian government was the first. What it does is it's to be on the panel to provide legal services in Victoria. You need to nominate a figure between 0 and 15% of the money that you would obtain from government, from the legal services, to give back in pro bono legal services, and that then becomes a condition of you being on the panel. The Commonwealth, taken a slightly different tack, it's not an enforceable condition, but you still do need to either sign up to the National Pro Bono Centre's target or nominate a value of pro bono work that you will do to be on their panel. That's fairly new, actually, yeah.
So governments are saying that if you really want to do work for us, or be in the pool to tender for work for us, we have certain expectations of your pro bono commitment.
That's right.
It's a form of social procurement, isn't it?
Yeah, they're leveraging from their purchasing power for reasonable social objectives. I think that's reasonable, yeah.
And that, in the end, reduces their responsibility down the track to provide these services for disadvantaged?
Well,
how does that...
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think you've hit on a real issue there, and that's the substitution between proper money for legal aid services and pro bono legal services. I think most in the pro bono movement would say they're not a substitute. They actually do different things, and law firms, particularly the larger law firms who are really major providers, are much better at doing things that are in the commercial space, you know, maybe tax or governance, helping organisations with that, than they are doing criminal or family law, which is very much the purview of government. Yeah. So there is a real divide between the two, but it is a matter of strategy.
But there is a wariness I've come across sometimes that the more pro bono work that lawyers do, is that going to take off the responsibility of governments to provide legal aid?
You always hear that call, and I think everyone needs to pay attention to that, and you've seen, I think, in the US and the UK, a much closer substitution than we've got here. I think we're a bit better at it here, in fact.
Now, John, you brought me in a very nice leaflet this morning called Social Needs. This is your sort of new online tool. What is it?
Okay, it's a directory or guide to over 600 social needs reports that have been published in Australia since 2007. In the information age, we need good, smart directories, Peter. Yeah. And that's what this is. It covers reports from Mission Australia, St Vincent de Paul, the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and they're each tagged. So if you've got an interest in not-for-profits or homelessness or Aboriginal people, you can quickly find all the key reports that have been published on that